Alright guys, got this thing, the anemometer hooked up, finally figured out how to do the settings. It is very interesting, to say the least. It's set up on time. So, I'm not sure if it's seconds, but what I had to do was, it will run to the east, and it will run to the south, and you keep incrementing the settings till it runs that direction for so much time, and then it will run north and it will run west. So basically you got to keep playing with the times. What I did was run it completely west, and then timed it and counted off as seconds till it got completely east and bottomed out and hit the limit switch. And then I kind of got an idea of how long to set it, and had to keep tweaking and playing with it. So the wind speed for this, it's default at 60. I don't think it's 60 mile an hour, I'm not sure, but I set it down lower so I could keep tweaking and working on it. And then you could set a threshold time. So basically when the anemometer spins fast enough to tell this, okay, the wind's too fast, it could damage the panels, and for it to start going through its cycle, then it's got a hold time. So you could tell it to hold, and I think it's in minutes. So it's like default around 600 or so. So what I did is played with that a little bit and kind of figured up, about what time to set it. It will stay like that for so many minutes. Once this slows down, it'll still hold it as long as this doesn't get above a certain speed, and then it will let it go back to normal tracking. But if this gets back up to the speed that you've set, then it goes back into a hold position, and it will stay at the flat position once you get it tweaked towards at that position. So right now they're tilted. It's tracking the sun. It's in normal operation. And I'll do another video later on, and I'll actually video the settings and show you which one, because there's literally nothing that I've found on the internet, on YouTube. Barely even found the manual. I did misplace mine. I finally found it. I made some copies, and I'll try to make those available if somebody's interested. They got this type of tracker. This particular one, you can find it online as WST03-2 or SZMWKJ. Okay, and so far it seems to be okay. You can actually set the tracking as far as the sensitivity. Excuse me, ooh, about to drop my phone. You can set the sensitivity. You can set the delay in time of how long it takes for, when it's sensing the sun and it moves. It'll move quite frequently, which it was actually moving too much for my liking, because then it runs the actuators too much, and it's running the battery down, and it really doesn't need to just constantly readjust. So I'm working on tweaking that, and I want to get that down to where, it'll move periodically. And then of course that gives time for the small panel to charge up the battery. Okay, I may eventually put just a power source out here and just basically have a constant source going to keep the battery charged and to keep the system running. But for right now, I'm just charging off this panel. So the bad thing about it is, while you're playing with it and you're adjusting, you're running your actuators and you're running the battery down. And of course, if it's not facing the sun, then you're not getting any charging. So that's only the bad part about it. But anyways, just want to let you guys know where I was at on it. Got a little more tweaking to do, but it seems to be working really well. This thing is, I think it'll be paying off. I'm going to be building these and possibly selling these here locally, and doing some installs. So I got some friends that's interested in them, so we're probably going to work on that. And you guys, I'll be giving you some future videos, and stay tuned. Subscribe, like. Got any comments? Give me some comments. That's fine with me. We'll see what you got to say, and See if it, there's some comments that came lately in the DIY power group and has helped, especially with like here. I redesigned this in the CAD, and I'm going to go with a plate that comes all the way down in here. It goes all the way up, goes all the way over. So it's basically going to be a foot by foot square. Then I'm going to split it, and then it'll go on each side. So the next one I build is going to be a lot sturdier. It's going to be thicker metal too. These right here are 3/16. This piece is, and this right here is like a 1/8 inch plate. I didn't really think it would put as much stress on it, but it did. And so I'm going to go with probably the 3/16 or 1/4 inch and just do a foot by foot and then split it, put one on each side. And that should hold that, keep that from twisting and torquing, because there is quite a bit of leverage. If you see, it's hooked down here and then where it's hooked at up there to get the range. But it about has to be there to have that type of range, or have a shorter actuator, and I can move it up and move that in, but that makes it harder for even the shorter one to push, because as you move in, you're creating a lot more force that has to push that up. As you move out, it has less force, so it's easier to push. So these things only got so much power in pounds to be able to push. So anyways, that's my update for today, guys. You take care, and we'll see you next time.